From the Siouxland News Studios in HD, the Wayne State Coaches Show with Jordan Furby starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. I'm Jordan Furby, and joining us once again this week is the head coach of the Wildcat football team, Dan McLaughlin. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jordan. Glad to be here.
Well, Coach, I don't know if there's many teams that are probably 0-2 that are better than you guys. Just some tough breaks that have kind of fallen for you guys. This past week against U of Mary, it was your guys' home opener. Unfortunately, they kind of spoiled the new turf at Cunningham Field. A 34-27 loss. Obviously, a tough break for the team.
It was. 0-2. You said that we're a great 0-2 team, but the simple fact is we're still 0-2, and that doesn't change anything. So we've got to clean some things up. We had 5 turnovers Saturday. Just huge mistakes that was all self-inflicted, and we've got to get that fixed.
Well, looking at some of the highlights, let's go to the first half. Mary jumped out to an early 7-0 lead, just 8:53 into the first quarter. But then after that, you guys kind of erupted for some points. 3 straight scores, an 85-yard drive capped off by, once again, they're kind of becoming a nice duo, Zach Osborne to Tonov Abram for an 18-yard score.
Yeah, kids did a nice job. We were able to run the ball. Charlie Davidson did another yeoman's effort, 31 carries for over 150 yards rushing. Zach Osborne played well. Our offensive line protected well, and we did some good things. We felt really good at halftime, going in with the lead and playing well. And then we get the ball to start the beginning of the third quarter, and second play we snap the ball in the shotgun snap and take our eyes off of it and get a fumble, and it rolls all the way back inside the 5, and they fall on it and knocked it in, and things kind of went downhill from there.
And looking back though at the first half, looking at some of the positives, like you said, Charlie played really well. He had the 5-yard touchdown that gave you guys the lead 14-7. Your defense makes a nice stop, and then Charlie has another great 32-yard run, and then your fullback, he gets a touch and he goes to run it in. You guys are up 21-7.
Right.
So some good offense, some good positives to look at from that first half.
Absolutely, and I thought our offensive line was dominating up front. Chad Cook from Hartington Cedar Catholic playing our fullback position, ran the ball very, very effectively. Charlie had another good game, and I thought Zach was doing a good job. And but when you turn the ball over, it's hard to maintain any consistency at all.
Now you guys, Mary would add a late touchdown. You guys would trade some field goals. I know one of the keys you said last week was that you're looking for an improvement in the kicking game. 2 for 2 for Tyler. It's not bad.
Yeah, we did a good job. We made some personnel changes up front to protect it better. Had a nice cup. Austin Pomeisel is our holder, who does a very good job, and Tyler knocked in a couple of field goals and made all of his extra points, so we were very pleased with that.
And obviously a 24-17 lead in the halftime. We'll talk a little bit about it after the break, but what was kind of the feeling going into that halftime? You guys had a little bit of a lead kind of evaporate, but you still had a touchdown lead going into the break.
We felt very good about it, again, because we're going to get the ball, and they hadn't stopped us in the second quarter, and just really, really positive vibe going in at halftime. Felt like we were going to take control of the game in the third quarter.
All right, well, the Cats took a 24-17 lead into the half. We'll get coaches' impressions on the second half and the entire game coming up. Plus, we'll check in on other Wildcat athletics in Wayne State 360 and preview today's opponent. That's all still to come. Stay tuned.
Siouxland News presents the Wayne State Coaches Show on Fox 44. Brought to you by the Diamond Center, State National Bank, Pack and Save, The Max, Arnie's Ford, Michael Foods, Northeast Nebraska Insurance, and Wayne State College and the Wayne State Foundation.
And welcome back to the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're joined by head coach Dan McLaughlin. Coach, you guys took a 24-17 lead into the second half. Probably not the way you wanted to start the opening half on the opening drive with this one.
No, absolutely not. Again, we felt really good at halftime that we could control the game in the third quarter. So we're getting the football. Got a touchback, so we get it on the 25. Second play, fumble a shotgun snap. It rolls all the way back inside the 5, and gave them obviously the very short field, and they knocked it in to tie the game. And then we had an unfortunate situation on a punt. Punted the ball up in the wind. The wind hung the ball short, so it was only about a 30-yard punt. And the kid caught the ball, and we're standing there watching him. and he didn't fair catch it. And for whatever reason, we didn't tackle him either, and he took off running and actually returned the ball back for a touchdown. Those were their only 2 scores of the second half, but it was enough to put them on top and be the difference in the game, unfortunately, because offensively we turned the ball over.
And you guys were able to pull within 4. We talked about Tyler a little bit before in the first part of the show. 2 for 2 this year, or this past week. 38-yard field goal he knocked in, and also another field goal he knocked in too. Definitely saw an improvement of play from him. You guys pull within 4 points. Unfortunately, they would also answer with a field goal of their own. But then you block the field goal. You actually have a chance to tie the game, and then unfortunately, an interception was kind of the way that it ended.
Well, and that was really my fault there at the end. We blocked their field goal and had a little bit of momentum there. Kids are bouncing around. Our starting quarterback got banged in the first play, and he got hit pretty hard. And Zach got up slow, and we're going to our 2-minute offense, which is the quarterback calls the plays.
Yeah.
And he got up slow and didn't. I wasn't sure that he could do that. I just wasn't sure what his faculties were. We only had 1 timeout left. I didn't want to burn the timeout to ask him how he was. So I made a quick substitution. We put Nate Most in. Well, Nate wasn't ready to go. He had to actually find his helmet on the sideline. I hadn't even spoken to him about Nate be ready to go or anything. I just grabbed him and threw him out there because I wasn't sure Zach was ready to go mentally in terms of calling plays. Turns out he was fine, but I didn't know that at the time.
You never want to take their safety into consideration.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I wasn't sure, and because he got hit pretty hard and he got up slow and he was kind of he just didn't, body language wasn't really good, and so we sent Nate into the game totally unprepared, and we had a miscommunication between him and the receiver on a route we were throwing, and which can happen. He hasn't played in 59 minutes, and so we throw an interception, and that was completely my fault. I put Nate in a position to fail, and it was a bad mistake on my part. I should have left Zach out there, but not knowing again how healthy he was. Turns out he was fine, and he was a little upset with me actually for taking him out of the game, and I get that too. But we just didn't have time to stop and ask and do all that because we only had 1 timeout left, and if we'd have burned it there, then we were really in trouble. So we throw the interception, and then they're able to run the clock out. So it was a tough loss for us, but it happened, and now we've just got to move on.
But looking at some of the summaries, another good day for Zach, most likely, or really realistically, 13 out of 24 for good passing stats, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. You guys only had 2 penalties in the game, and once again held the other team to less than 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, that's 2 games in a row we've held the opponent to less than 80 yards rushing, which is fabulous. We made them one-dimensional. Their quarterback is outstanding. Bagnell kid did a great job, but we did a good job too. We just turned it over, and so I guess we didn't do a good job because we ended up losing the ball game. But still a lot of good things, a lot of things to build on, and we are getting better, and so really anxiously looking forward to the future.
Absolutely. Well, another tough loss for sure, obviously, but the Cats do have a chance for redemption today. We'll hear Coach's impressions of the team so far and what needs to be fixed for today's game. That's coming up after the break. And welcome back. We're here with Coach Dan McLaughlin. Coach, it's sometimes easier to find what you need to work on through losses than it is through wins. Obviously, starting the season out 0-2, not the ideal start, but what are some improvements that you guys can work on, that you guys have worked on this week in practice leading up to this week's game?
Just consistency, overall consistency, because we're really good at times, and then we're not at other times, and why. And so not making mistakes and just being consistent in our effort and in our focus and in our concentration, and that magic word that is the cliche is execution. Because we are really good at times, and we've just got to get more consistent at being really good, and I think that'll come. I really do. Youth and inexperience are going to eventually wear off, and we're going to get more comfortable. And as they say at the NFL, the game is going to slow down. And when that happens, we'll get more consistent, and we'll make less mistakes. And when we do that, things will really get going. Now,
have you seen that a lot with the team? I mean, obviously not a tremendously young team, but you do have a lot of new players in that youth you were talking about. What have you kind of seen among the team as far as that youngness and how they're going to play through that?
Well, the best thing I've seen is the disappointment that they felt in losing. You know, they're really disappointed in themselves, and they're disappointed in how things are going, and there's a great resolve to get better. Effort in practice has been outstanding, and they want to do better. Their goals were much higher than this, and they've really responded in the right way. We don't have a lot of I haven't noticed any chins on their shoes and people woe is me and feeling sorry for themselves at all. They've had a great effort in practice. They're getting each other pumped up, and we have great team chemistry. And I just really feel like that this is going to take off. It's just a matter of when.
Now, looking at more of the good with this team, both of your games. I mean, last week was 2 weeks ago was in overtime. Last week you guys only fell by a touchdown. You're in the games. I mean, you have a chance to win the game or tie the game at the end of the fourth quarter, which is all you can ask for. Now it's more of executing. We talk a little bit about the mistakes, the turnovers last week. Do you think this is kind of maybe a thing where it's maybe good that they're having these mistakes early and they can kind of play through it, because then as the season progresses and moves on, it's going to make them that much stronger? Is that kind of what you're seeing?
Well, I think that's one way to look at it, absolutely. You trial by fire kind of a thing, and once you fight through the smoke, it's like in a stock car race. They always say drive through the smoke and don't back off, and don't be hesitant in your decision making. And I think there's certainly some merit in that perspective, and we're just going to try and get better in all phases of the game. And I'm doing coach speak here, but that's really all you can do is continue to practice well and practice hard and prepare well. And eventually the ball is going to bounce your way. And when it does, then this is really going to take off for us. And complete confidence in these kids. And we just got to get it going our direction.
And I guess touched on that a little bit more of what we were talking about just a moment ago. It'd be one thing if you didn't have the talent, but I think it's frustrating because you guys do. But at the same time, you have to be encouraged that a bounce here, a bounce there. Maybe the wind not blowing on that punt return. You guys are right in the ball game, so
well,
I mean, it's encouraging.
I'm extremely encouraged, but I'm also discouraged because it's 2 games we should have won, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. I always tell the kids, if you woulda and you coulda and shoulda, then it would have happened. It just didn't, and so we've got to do better. That's on us. We can't continue to. Last week you and I talked about, well, we won the game every way except on the scoreboard. Well, now that's 2 weeks in a row. Well, that gets you nothing, And so I told the kids I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty, and so we've got some things to do, and we're gonna work hard to get there.
All right. Well, Wayne State 360 is coming up next, presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance. Don't go away.
Wayne State 360, a look at what's going on all around the Wildcat campus. Brought to you by Northeast Nebraska Insurance.
Taking a look at Wayne State 360. Once again, our focus this week is on the Wayne State Wildcat volleyball team. Coach Kneifel's team is now 8-0 on the year with another perfect 4-0 run at the Colorado State Pueblo Tourney last week. All 4 of their wins were by 3-0 sweeps. The Wildcats have also moved up 1 spot to number 7 in the coaches poll this week, and they're now receiving 4 first-place votes. Now, the Wildcats hosted Sioux Falls yesterday in their home opener at Wayne State, and will play at home actually this afternoon against number 10 Southwest Minnesota State, who is 5-3 in this matchup. That one is set for 4 p.m. We want to wish the best of luck to Coach Kneifel and the Wildcat volleyball team. Coming back here now with Coach McLaughlin. Coach, this week's opponent, you guys go up the road up to Minnesota to play Minnesota Crookston. They come into this game at 0-2. Someone's obviously winning this game in this one. They come in suffering losses to Upper Iowa and Minnesota State Mankato, who's doing pretty well for themselves. They got shut out to Upper Iowa, but they scored some points on Minnesota Mankato. What concerns you about this team?
Well, they're at home. They're 0-2. They're going to do some things probably different, just because they're going to be grasping for anything for a victory, and they might not have felt maybe that they could beat Mankato, but we're coming in 0-2, licking our wounds. I'm sure they think here's an opportunity to get after us. Their quarterback is very good. He's left-handed, which gives you a little bit different perspective, but he does throw the ball very well. They scored some points on us 2 years ago when we played them up there, and their offense can get up and down the field. we can control that, but we have to do it. And if we don't play better, then that's exactly what will happen. They're very well coached, and they'll play extremely hard. So we've got to be ready to go.
Now, it's kind of an interesting game too, because with both teams coming in 0-2, both teams are backs against the wall. Neither one wants to move to 0-3. Does that play an advantage for you guys to kind of, I mean, obviously anybody trying to get that first win, you're going to be motivated, but the way you guys have lost the games, I got to imagine the guys are probably going to play some angry football this afternoon.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. The other thing that works against us a little bit is the trip. But for whatever reason, with the history of my football teams, we've played better on the road than we have at home, and Lord knows why. I get asked that question all the time, and I don't have a good answer. But we're looking forward to great execution, and I think the kids will do a great job, and we're just had a good week of practice, and we'll have to roll it out and see.
And I feel like, I'm sure you're going to agree with me, this team's a lot better than the record shows, obviously, but we talked about a little bit, the results need to start showing. You guys have won all aspects of the game. Now it's time to stop that turnover deficit. It's time to put the results on the board, and it's kind of put up or shut up time. Exactly.
And, saying that we're the best 0-2 team is not a great salve on the wound. Believe me, I'd rather be looked at as maybe not so good 2-0 team. So, yeah. But we can't change that. You got to be a man, step up and accept it. And this is where we're at, and this is what we got to do to move forward. And we're going to do that. And we're looking forward to better things. And hopefully today it starts that.
Now, going into prepping for this game, what's kind of things you're saying to the team in the locker room entering this game?
Again, this play, win this play. And what's the most important play in football? The next play. The next play. Play the next play. And if we make a mistake, don't let it worry about it. Get yourself up off the ground and play the next play. And let's do better the next play. And let's be consistent in our effort and in our execution and our technique. And if we can do that, we've got a really good football team. I truly believe that. And 0-2 doesn't show that. And as you said, it's put up or shut up time. It's about time we need to do that, or you're looking at yourself and saying, well, we're the best 0-9 team in the country, and that's silly. So now's the time, and let's get it done.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Well, still to come, we'll see what's in store for all of Wildcat athletics this week. Let's get Coach's 3 keys to victory coming up next. And welcome back. Now time to take a look at what other sports are going on around campus. It's going to be a busy week in Wayne America. Get out and watch the Wildcats this week. The women's soccer team takes on MSU Moorhead tomorrow at 1 p.m. out at Cunningham Field, and then again next Saturday at 11 a.m. versus Minnesota Crookston. Of course, the women's volleyball team had their home opener Thursday against the University of Sioux Falls. They'll play at home again on Tuesday versus Augustana. That one will be at 7 p.m. They'll be home again versus Minot State Friday again at 7 p.m. And then Saturday, a little bit of a matinee at 4 p.m. as they take on University of Mary again next Saturday at 4 p.m. Best of luck to all of the Wildcat sports. Well, Coach, we are back now looking for the first victory of the year. Got a good feeling about it. I think it's going to happen. I'm not going to try to jinx it, but I feel like you guys have a good chance of getting the win over Crookston. The 3 keys to beating Minnesota Crookston this afternoon.
Well, the number one defining statistic in football is turnovers, and last week we had 5 turnovers. We cannot turn the ball over, and the mark of a well-coached team is a team that doesn't turn the ball over, and so that's on me. And we have to do a better job in protecting the football. That's the number one goal for us this week, is just do not turn the ball over. Maintain our great effort on defense. They've kind of sustained us these first 2 weeks. Let's continue that and maintain that great effort there. And then finally, and you and I have talked about, it's kind of been the theme all morning here, is our consistency on offense. We just got to be more consistent. We've been really good at times. Let's make it really good all the time. And to me, I think that those are the 3 things. That if we can not turn the ball over, play our consistent great defense, and then do a better job with offense and not making the mistakes, I think we'll be fine.
We've got about a minute here too, but you kind of mentioned that you've taken a little more of a hands-on approach this week. Just talk a little briefly about that.
Well, I've been more of a CEO, kind of a coach, and kind of walking around and being a part of the whole thing. And I'm going to get more involved with the offense, so I'm going to not be down at the defensive end there as much. I'm going to be, offense is my background, that's what I know the best, and that's my main interest, and so I'm going to be a little bit more involved with that and on the headsets and and hopefully I can help out there.
Absolutely. Well, you guys will be at Crookston this afternoon. You guys return back home next week for a tough one against Minnesota Duluth for homecoming at Cunningham Field. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, and it should be a great crowd, and really looking forward to a great opportunity there, but we got to take care of business here first. So.
Absolutely. Well, that does it for us. Coach, I'd like to thank you once again for sitting down with us. Best of luck today. And that's going to wrap up the Wayne State Coaches Show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week, and go Cats.